Oh yeah, I got it. Okay.
When Melissa gets in the studio, I'll pull her up. 11/9/2020. That is a 2020. You know that? 11 and 9 is 2020. Right?
Powerful days. Powerful
11,
days.
fucking A it is. I'll say. Every Monday seems like. Look, my face, I've got red, my third eye's totally been blown out. My scalp is all. Hey, Rebecca, what's happening? I saw that post that lady put up about political post and Soulogy. I never see political posts in Soulogy. I don't know what that was, but Rebecca answered it. Marina Govier, cooking and listening. Marina, you see this background, this red background, this reddish pink background? I've been meaning to send you a note and say, can we get the same thing in the blue as the background? Because we need something darker so people will show up. What are we going to do without Marina? We can't. She's freaking awesome. All right. How do I get lucky? Bruce wants to know. We got to get Bruce on here. I got to find his email. Got to get him up here. There's Allison. Allison, I'm sorry I didn't call you this weekend. I'm absolutely discombobulated, so I can't even think of. You were on my list, and I got all my other calls, but for some reason, I didn't get to that one. I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to play the intro while we wait for What's the Crack to get here. And let's see, Philly Pam. Good morning, God morning, brothers and sisters. How are we doing? Timeline shifting like crazy. 11/11. No shit to that. Rainbow Bridge wide open. That's right, it is. Okay, here we go. Be right back. Hopefully, What's the Crack will get here. We're waiting on test. We're waiting on Melissa Deehan and her Irish ass. I don't know what's going on over there, but that's okay. She'll be here in time. We're just giving her a hard time. So everything's getting thicker and thicker. That ain't no shit. I'm not in the mood to mince any words today. Yeah, everything is getting thicker and thicker, and I mean, I don't even know. And I know everybody must be privy to the same code and revelations and epiphanies that are available. They're getting it in their own way. We are definitely in the no bullshit zone, especially if you're bullshitting yourself. And, I did a lot of thinking this weekend about what Soulogy's doing, what's happening at Soulogy. We are 2 days away, by the way, from uh, unveiling our our website. It looks fantastic. Thank you, Marina Govier. Um, yeah, so I've been thinking about a lot of stuff this weekend, based on what happened last week on these shows and in the community and in the world, which is why we designed this show, as an experiment to see, hey, well, why don't we have a get together on Monday morning and get the week off right and kind of put the last week behind us or discuss it and learn from it and move on. So, part of what I've been receiving, it's going to be a pretty wild show. part of what I've been receiving is, and I think it goes for all of us who want to take that role, which I think is everybody that watches this program and that are in these circles, and that's to be a bridge. And how do you be a bridge in this ever-changing current, this river that we're flowing in, where delicate now becomes direct and direct now becomes delicate, where you don't tell people what they want to hear, you tell them the truth. I think none of us are used to this. We're really not. We might think we are, but we're not. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with awakening. So I look around at the world, and of course we know what the score is. The score is separation and division, and there is no them. These are our brothers and sisters playing roles as the 1% or as the 99% and everything in between. So we know the whole thing was designed to create division, duality. We're having to let go of all of our labels, even the ones that we don't want to. Mm-hmm. I see, for instance, there's an individual that I share a lot of their stuff in the Soulogy group as I do my shares daily. That's very, very possessive of their cultural ethnicity. And that's a beautiful thing. My grandfather told me to be proud to be a Mexican when I was a kid, and I was. But all this has got to go. And just as the masculine and the feminine is going to have to go. There ain't one fucking thing that's going to stay. Nothing. You can't go through that eye of the needle and be the exception to the universal rule. I don't know if we understand how honorable and reverent, how incredible and fantastic the opportunity that we have chosen to take part in is. We are ascending in so many ways, to include our physical body being the evidence as it transforms to a light body. And everybody, like me, has evidence of that in their body. And we can talk about this story after story after story, but this is not the time to be in conflict. And if it is, shut the fuck up and go to your room and close the door and work that shit out. This projection's got to stop. I'm not going to call people out because I don't think that's cool. But I am going to call the energy out. And there are prominent people in this community and otherwise, prominent, I mean just publicly known on a wider scale, who say they are channeling messages, and from those channels, from what is purported to be a higher intelligent aspect of us, saying that somebody's a good guy and somebody's a bad guy, that somebody's right and somebody's wrong. I'm glad the election's over. I'm tired of talking about it, and I'm tired of talking about QAnon. I'm tired of narratives, savior-based programming that light workers and starseeds are being regulated to. Look, we're supposed to be leading the way here. We're supposed to be leading the way for the world. You want to call yourself a first waver or a starseed or whatever. I just heard Melissa, there she is. This goes for me. This goes for everybody. This goes for me first. And if we're going to call ourselves way showers, then be a fucking way shower. Don't underestimate the power of one unique and equal soul. And that includes when you come out on a post and you say so-and-so is in the dark. You say David Icke is a bad person, don't follow him. And I'm not pointing anybody's names out, but you can put two and two together. I really don't give a shit because I'm tired of it. Don't come out and tell me Marianne Williamson is dark controlled, because if you're accusing somebody or pointing the finger at somebody and saying they're controlled by the dark, guess what? You're the one that's controlled by the fucking dark, not them. And they shouldn't even be your concern. You should be your concern. I think it's time that if we're going to be way showers, we need to carry oneness to the nth degree, and that includes our personal prejudices and biases. Look, I don't have to like you. There are people out there I don't like, but I love them unconditionally. And I pull them up pretty much every single day, and I look them in the eye in the etheric field, and I say, please, the universe, help me see the perfect mirror in this person because I know they're me. And then I go about my business being human, and I don't like them. Okay? That's the truth. That's all I can say. Right? And that's okay, I think, because it's real. It's truth. But to go out and say that we are the way showers and the star seeds that have these galactic memories and have this sacred wisdom and not to apply it, is a waste of time. And not only that, do not underestimate the power of one unique and equal soul. That sounds like, and it was meant to be when it came. I didn't say it. It was given to me a long time ago. That was meant as an empowering statement, as a statement of unlimited potential, right? But it's also has another end to it. Every sword has two edges, and we can do some damage. We can do some stuff that's counter to our intentions, and intentions are everything. Don't get me wrong. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and everyone's being challenged. Every single one of us here I know has been, and all of our friends, and everybody's included. But I think, given all that, the old saying, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. I just think it's time that we start walking the talk. And if it means we've got to call somebody out and say, hey, pal, whoa, why are you talking shit, about so-and-so publicly? You want to do it private? Hopefully nobody hears about it. And look, I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. But all I'm saying is it's time that we start acting like way showers. And not be calling ourselves that because it's some fad or it's cool, or we're in the clique, the lightworker clique, like a badge, like a medal, like another label. It's time that we start walking the talk. And I think it's okay, or it's going to be necessary, it seems, that we've got to call those that we love out. So I have a little bit on my mind today. And I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm just saying I'm tired of seeing this stuff go back and forth. And I'm going to put this out there. Anybody, I don't give a shit who it is. Anybody that wants to come onto the program and not have a debate, but have a discussion. If you feel, and I'm not anti-QAnon, and I'm not anti-Trump or anti-bot, I'm not anti-anything. The only thing I'm anti is anything that takes our power away. Okay? So let me make that clear. But anyone that would like to come on and have a discussion on Soul Speaks 5D with me, that thinks there's a spiritual battle that is at all levels and all dimensions, then let's have a discussion. We are embodying our higher selves and our multidimensional aspects. That's a very big challenge to the human aspect, no doubt. But we're built to do it. And the whole idea is to embody, and that's a very multifaceted thing. But first and foremost is to think, speak, and act as our higher self. The excuse of, well, I'm only human, isn't going to work anymore. At least we have the potential to surpass it. And when one person starts doing it, then another person starts doing it. You see, Michael Mejia then meets Melissa Deehan, and then the real contagion, the real virus starts to take hold in the Earth grid, and that's how we grow this thing. And I think that's what Soulogy is, which is one of many, many, many power centers around the world. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for letting me rant.
I think
Melissa, last one in, first one out.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Since you're technologically challenged, I'm just messing with you. But since you came in last, we're going to start with you. What's the crack?
Oh, wow.
What's the crack?
Talk about putting me on the spot. Well, I was listening to you while my computer was being an asshole. It's powerful stuff coming from you today. That's like a big force. And then when I clicked in, it was just like, that's the energy we're being met with, though, isn't it? I think we're all done. I think we're all just done, aren't we? You know, like, yeah. I mean it in the best possible way. I am so mindful over the last couple of days that I keep my stuff as mine and that I don't project my stuff onto you and make you wrong in order for me to feel better, if that makes sense. I'm mindful that in my story, it's mine. It's so easy for us to how do I even explain this?
Just let it out. Do it the normal.
I'm very aware. I'm very aware of my past. I'm very aware of my story. I'm very aware of the things I've been through. I'm very aware of the things that I have rumbled in my life. I'm very aware of the things I don't want to be a part of anymore, that I don't want to endure anymore, that I don't want to experience anymore. Like they are as clear as black and white to me. And as I'm trying to go with the flow of things, as opposed to being dragged along, which is usually the case for me, you're not listening, drag. You're not listening, drag. I'm just trying to keep my center, self-preservation. Allow me to work through my stuff as I'm anchoring all the things that you talked about a couple of minutes ago. Not lose my shit, not project onto somebody else. And the second that I catch it, that I rein it back in, and that I don't make the other person or the other situation wrong. I understand now clearer than I've ever done before. This is my journey, that is yours. And if there's any aspect of the two journeys that don't dance and they collide, something has to be done. That's just me. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I just said.
Good. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's pure channeling, which is what we would be, which is what our communication with the higher self is. It's us talking. It's when the ego gets in the way, maybe that's how it works, and we start getting channels saying somebody's bad and somebody's good. You know, I mean, and guilt trip channeling or external blame channeling or whatever you want to call it, we're all susceptible to it. What you got, Michael Mejia? Peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Intro. That's my intro. I feel that I love what you're speaking to, because I feel like it's throughout the atmosphere of the world right now. And I think that sort of nebulousness, that sort of confusion, we would understand what's happening to the collective if we understood ourselves on a deeper level. The shift in consciousness that we're experiencing as a world is literally an unveiling, and it's a stripping away until the only thing that's left is love, pure love in physical form. And so what you see is, and what you feel, because it carries a frequency, is you feel the ego and the pain body within every form holding on tight not wanting to let go. And what you see, which is the natural progression of the ego, is you see it just, there's the death of a few attachments and then there's a clinging to new ones. So, I mean, even if we're still clinging to light worker, forerunner, spiritualist, if we're clinging to good versus evil, then you don't understand that all of those things, all of those veils are still coming back into balance until there's nothingness. We're moving back into a state of emptiness. The only way for consciousness in its purest form to anchor in the physical body is for the psyche and the emotional body in the field to become completely empty. So what you feel is the dichotomy. The frequency of unity is tender, it's soft, it's kind, it's loving. It moves at the pace of timeless eternity. It touches, it looks and feels like the dove. It looks like when you look out at the ocean and there's that still point where you see infinity and the ocean doesn't end. That's how the eyes will start to glaze over into nothingness, into wonder. And so I think that it's really important for us to just recognize what's happening inside of us. Don't fight the burning away. Honor it, feel it deeply. Someone wrote on here about the void. And yesterday, I can say for myself, was one of the deepest void states I've been in years. I literally didn't get out of my bed till like 5 p.m. And I just kept sleeping off and on because I was like, okay, I'll work through this pain and dream state quicker than I will if I'm awake. So I just kept going to sleep, feeling the hollowness, feeling the pain, feeling the heartache, watching it all burn, staying in that feeling of not wanting to be here, and that I felt so disconnected, because I know that's an initiation to cross another threshold. I think that it's not a matter of, like, I have no judgment for how everything's playing out right now. But what I see is people prolonging the inevitable and continuing to perpetuate their own suffering. So I think that if we could just, like you say, it really is a go into yourself and realize that you're in pain. And sometimes the best thing to do is to stay quiet and just feel.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with it. Delia, what's happening?
Man, talk about initiations and purification. Well, Saturday, something even after the live, I started getting like violet flame activations. Since I'm moving and everything else, I've been doing clearing. And while doing the clearing, I was at the moment also acting of the physical aspects and the projections of everything that people believe, say, and everything else. What somebody communicates something and the intent is pure, and there's the other person taking something different. And I was like, you have to honor that. You have to take full acceptance. And acceptance the role also in a person. But it just reminded me as you were talking, I don't know what this poem, but it just happened to be nearby, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's called Reclaim the Soul. As the world shifts under our feet, we realize the old veil that once blocked clarity and unity to be seen. Polarity, duality, yin and yang. It is the ebb and flow of life. The illusion of separation, you can see it is within all. You can feel the energy it carries. You can honor it and choose neutrality. Stand rooted only while perceiving the grander scale of what's to play, even if it's the greater unknowns. Because in the end, everything is love.
Beautiful. Right on. Thank you for sharing that. I think on a personal level, one of the things that I'm starting to understand is I don't like to hear myself talk bad about people, and I don't like to hear other people talk bad about people. I don't give a shit who it is or what the subject is. There's something that's not sitting right with me anymore. If I do it myself, or if I'm around, or hear, or read, or watch a video, or whatever the case is, and that's happening, there's something that's unsettling, and it's making me sick. So how can I rectify that other than to be conscious of it? Because that's what we're doing. We're becoming more and more masterful at consciously creating. But in order to consciously create, you can't have any exceptions. There was a great video last night, Sacred Sex, Sensuality, and Spirituality, on One Diamond Heart, the infamous, beautiful, hot, fucking hot. Morgan Lee was the guest with Alina and Rory and Andy. It's about an hour long. It's an excellent video, live.
Yeah, I watched it. It was great.
Yeah, I listened to it last night. I can't even watch videos. Even Morgan's on to watch the whole thing. I just have ADD or whatever you call it. I don't know. I can't. But I watched the whole entire thing. Morgan always says a copy is a copy is a copy. Sacred sex, to me, is the core physical representation of the energetic ascension that we're experiencing. So I'm telling you this story for that reason. I love sex my whole life. I'm a fucking sex maniac, and I admit it. I went celibate, true, because I'd had enough. You know, I remember the last episode, and I walked out of the house, and she was very happy, this sister, and I walked out thinking that not about her, but about myself. What a waste. What a waste. And again, this is a metaphoric anecdote, okay? It's being spoken for metaphorical reasons, right? A copy is a copy is a copy. So then I go into celibacy, and unknowingly, intuitively, whatever, and clear enough space to find someone or something, energy outside of me comes in many forms, right? And comes and matches. I match, we match, we're near the same frequency, and then the story begins. Oh my God, right? So this show I'm watching last night, it's reminding me of this, and I find the journey of sacred sexuality for Todd Medina is reflective, and I can't really totally speak for the feminines, but I think it's the same, but it's reflective of what we're going through all across the board, right? If you got to give up talking about people because it's not real and truthful, you got to give up anything else that's not real and truthful, that's distorted. And most of our programming obviously has been very distorted. So point is, I've gone through this incredible, intimate relationship in my life that has had so many mind-blown experiences I can't even explain. But to this day, I'm still dying. I'm still having to deal with letting go of these carnal pleasures. And that doesn't mean that we don't have some hanky-panky in my house, okay? All I'm trying to say is the old way won't work. It just won't work. And for a man, that's a fucking bitch. It is. But I can tell you, from having just experiences, little pieces here and there, and they were huge, don't get me wrong. They were huge, and we've talked about them. I've talked about them on the show. But what I've seen is so much greater and grander, and whatever adjectives, whatever the most incredible adjectives you could come up with. But the prerequisite is you're only going to experience that which is unknown, that which is our natural nature, that which is far beyond anything we can comprehend, you're only going to experience that proportionate to what you give up. And we're not about sacrifice. We're not about suffering. We're about deprogramming and reprogramming, transforming, and bringing heaven to earth. And heaven to earth is a very, very local thing. And the reason I'm telling this story is because I see this is where we're at. And if it's so sensory in the sacred sexuality aspect, so loud, so clear, then that's what I think gives me, the eyes to be able to see that it's the same pattern, it's the same template for all of us. So I guess what I'm saying in short is that there's a huge, fantastic, beyond fairy tale, incredible heaven, nirvana, you name it, Shambhala, Avalon, whatever, all that stuff, everything combined into one, and it's infinite and limitless. And all we got to do is let go of the prejudices and the biases and these belief systems that we've had, and yeah, what Michael said. When those deaths come, we might need to put a zipper on our mouth and go into a room, close the door, turn the light off, get under the covers, and work that shit out. I don't have the answers. I'm here to learn, and I'm very, very honored to be a part of this energy. And everyone is a part of this energy equally. So, thank you. Who's next? Melissa Deehan.
Michael is next.
What?
It's Melissa. It's what the crack.
What the crack?
Oh, Jesus. Todd, I mean, how do I follow that shit? Seriously, I'm a rookie in the field here. I'm an absolute rookie. You know what? No, but you know what? Messing aside, I think, wow, connection. We're so used to looking outside of ourselves for connection in the shape and form of a human or an experience or a substance that we're not used to experiencing. Well, I know I'm not used to experiencing what you have over there with you guys. And in one sense, I'm going to keep working towards that within me, because I only imagine what that is like when you have it in real time. At the same time, I mean, it's an individual journey, isn't it? So, I don't know. For me, reconnection, when I go to a place like what Michael described earlier on, he had his duvet day. I probably had one about 4 days ago with myself, so that I'm not needing anything outside of me. It's not easy though, is it? Because we're all winging it. We're all going through so much, trying to stabilize how we feel, trying into other people's stuff, and stay centered. Some days I'm vertical. Some days I'm absolutely on the floor. I don't know. Michael.
That's funny. Well, that's real.
Yeah. I watched the video this morning with Morgan and Andy, Elena, right?
Elena and Rory.
Rory. Yeah. And it was really great. And I was just exploring what it brought up inside of myself while I was watching the video. And I think Morgan really articulates how energy becomes stagnant, right? How we lose the power of connection. And I think in ways of like when, if you first, your very first boyfriend or your very first girlfriend, just we lose the power of seeing. We no longer see the spirit. And she talked about, I think Rory, one of them mentioned like the human becomes an object for your pleasure.
Yeah.
And really that pleasure and that desire is rooted in separation, lack, scarcity, control, fear, all these many mechanisms of fear. And I really feel that what's happening is when you stop. I loved how Morgan talked about breaking down the programs, like, oh, the man's going to pay for the meal, but then he's going to expect something in return. And women feel like they have to present themselves a certain way, clean up a certain way, right? To fit all of these programs, all of the ways we've been conditioned. And when you do that, you become mechanical. And when you become mechanical, you lose the power to feel. Yeah. And when you lose the power to feel, you can no longer connect, because the spirit, we feel from the spirit. And so now you're living in the mind and you're experiencing everything from the mind. And, you no longer see the person in front of you. They become an object of your own mental projections. Right. So they disappear, and you don't get to feel the power and mysticism of a human heart, or the warmth of blood running through the body of another. You no longer get to experience the heaven of what it means to really see and touch and feel and love and kiss. So it really opened up a lot for me. I thought it was powerful. When I watched the video, it made sense to me that Morgan's kind of stepping out more, even though she doesn't like being on lives, because how do you send out this wave of truth into the world? Like, she understands this process so deeply, and what's happening is our prana, the kundalini, is literally reversing, and it gets stuck along the way as it's in all these energy centers, clearing everything within each center, everything that's been distorted or long held in the body. And it's trying to move back into the crown, where we get to, literally commune with existence, where we become a channel for eternity. And so I see her stepping out, because that's one of the biggest, the distorted masculine, these wounds, sexuality, not being understood, the kundalini reversing. This is stuff the world really needs to understand. You look at TV shows, programs, relationships, why relationships kind of continuously fail, because we're really in relationship with ourselves and we never see the other, because we don't see ourselves, we don't love ourselves. So I see Morgan and a lot of people that have basically been blueprinted with this knowledge and wisdom. It's time for that energy to ripple out fully, because the energy is reversed and it is moving towards the crown, and it's meant to happen. So I thought Andy and Elena and Rory, I thought they did a phenomenal job. I think that was their first show together.
Yeah.
They all have really beautiful energy, and I just think they did great. And I'm looking forward to watching all of them continue to do more.
Right on. There is somebody asked for the link to that video. I just put it up. It's on my Facebook page, and I also put up Morgan's zeropointing.com site that Morgan and Melissa are manning, because I think we're going to put that video on that site. It was a very, very well done, an edited version. I sent it over to Israel, and I put one out on YouTube last night. Got a huge response. Before we go to Delia, I saw some comments in regard to physical sex, and you can have both, and that's not what this story was about. And if you want, I'm not one to speak on that. I can tell you, I think everything's being integrated, and I've had experiences, where that certainly was the case, but that's not why I brought this up. I brought this up because it's not whether it's the sacred sex example or talking about people and calling them out by their names. It's not so much the action, it's the belief system, which is not a belief system, it's a fucking program. Okay? It's a program. So all I'm trying to say is the more programs that we transform, the more we will experience this stuff. And whether it be sacred sexuality or the sacred sexual vibration in our artistic expressions in relationships that are non-romantic. All I'm trying to say is that we can't have our cake and eat it too. We are human, and we are taking that with us. And not only that, we're divine humans who have gone through a transformation and led the way for this universe after a certain point of awareness and actualization. So that's the point of the story, and that's why I brought it up. It's not about the sex thing, although it's fantastic video, fantastic information with a lot more code in between the words than there are with the words, and there's a lot with the words. So I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you. Delia, you're up next.
Yeah, I just think overall how it feels in every moment, even more as we're doing our clearing and our inner work, we're starting to see that duality and that polarity in the collective. And that stuff that's no longer vibrating, we also are able to start rewriting our energy and frequency. And eventually, I mean, like I've been saying, that stuff is collapsing. It's no longer going to be able to sustain. And we're seeing it now. We are in the chaotic state of how that death of everything is happening. And that is a transformation of a layer of a multitude of things. And you're seeing it in the personal, you're seeing it in friendships, you're seeing it in a lot of things, and it ripples out, and we're feeling that. And we're in the eye of the needle, basically seeing it. If we're not continuing doing our internal work and staying within ourselves, having that pull away, doing that reflectiveness and realizing where there might be a program still playing and collapsing that, and then it's not going to go further. So the best relationship one can have is with themselves. That's the foremost. It's with them. They'll even allow having something else with the person. I mean, I've seen the dating world. It's not pretty. I mean, you start dating, you start going out there, and then you're like, you already have a script of who you are, what you do, and everything else. And it's a facade. You don't know. They don't know who you are. And I mean, I haven't actively been dating, but at the same time, it's my relationship is with myself. And I'm not seeking anything else external, but having a relationship with myself. It's like a marriage to your inner soul, a marriage to integration of everything from the higher self to the human perspective, as well as the ego is honoring that. It's not like clashing down and throwing down one thing or the other.
Yeah.
It is having that connection. And it doesn't matter, eventually everything else that we pull in, we also have a reflection like, ooh, what did I do? What's in my field that's also attracting that? That's one of the biggest questions when I have certain things come up. What do I have to do? So even if I'm not directly involved in something, I always ask myself that thing too. It's just like, where do I work on energetically to make sure that I can move past something? And it, like I've said, it ripples out. So one doing the work goes to a multitude. It's the same thing like Michael connecting Melissa, and the multitude of the connection, and the connection even with their shows. Now Melissa's going to be doing a show, and it's going to be that multitude of that connection that connects, and it goes deeper into owning your shift and really, really making things for people. And this is, I think, brings up a lot for everybody.
Yeah. Somebody just put up, which is what you're saying too. Where is it? Light is so intense, we are seeing everyone's shadows squirming. It's a good thing. True. And I'm with you because I'm married to Morgan, And so I learned day one, it's never them, it's always me, which I think I was headed, I was on that trajectory unconsciously, as I think we all have been. Then I had somebody step in and made it conscious. One of the things that she said last night on that show, and again, this is an example. This is not about dating. It's not about physical intimacy. We're speaking about an energetic pattern, both in the conditioning and in the expansion. Like, what have we been doing that doesn't work, and what are we creating and formulating that's working? Because this is a work in process for all of us. We're creating the new template. Anyway, she said, wouldn't that be, and this goes back to that direct, delicate, direct, right? She says, what if a woman saw an attractive man, walks up to the man and says, hey, I think you're attractive. I don't want to sleep with you. I'm not asking you to, go to bed, but I'd like to get to know you for the next few weeks or months, and then let's see what happens. Or a guy walks up to a chick and says the same thing. Hey, I think you're very attractive. I don't want to sleep with you. Let me make that clear, but I would like to get to know you. You want to go out? Like she said that on the show last time. I'm like, wow, that's like very doable. See, that's the way I look at this whole thing, and I have since day one, is that's why, I'm the whole human thing, because I understand this person and that person, and they're telling us this, and the galactic said that, and the angels said that, and the elemental said that, but how does that translate to me? Now, if I look at that example that she gave, that I just gave, that's doable. That's something that at a conscious level, as a human being desiring to expand, I can do that. Am I going to get it right the first few times 100%? Probably not. But if I have a conscious, if I consciously carry the desire and the focus, this can actually be applied to every single part of my life. And for me, what that means is, because I'm living in a laboratory with, it means less projection, less distortion, less distraction. And I was coming home last night and listening to that video, and right toward the end, when I got off the highway, sometimes when you're on your phone, the video will just, I guess it's too much memory and it just shuts off. But it was almost at the end. And what I got was, wow. And it was kind of like focused on Morgan and I, but it was really, a collective thing. And it came in so clear, and I can't get it right. I tried to tell her last night. And that is that it is a huge challenge. And that might not be the right word, but it's a huge force as we pull in more and more code, and we wake up and our third eye is all blown up and red, and and our body's doing the things it's doing. This is a evidence of what's actually happening energetically. It's a huge impact on the human aspect, but I really believe that we're starting to get a handle on this, so there's less projection and less distortion and less unconscious programming. And I guess if I go back to how I started this show today, we can do this. We might have to call ourselves out. We might have to call somebody out that's our friend. I don't know how it works, but we can do this. And this is where I'm coming with, if we're going to be way showers, let's walk the talk. Because if there's division and polarity and separation in the light worker circles, God knows it's going to be that way everywhere. What do people have to look at? And I think one thing about the Soulogy energy, which again, I'm very honored to be a part of, an equal part with every single person that tunes in and so on, is that I believe what people are seeing and going to see and going to learn from is these unknown people who share their stories, who are living examples and who are actually blossoming. I've watched Michael do it. I've watched Melissa do it. I've known Melissa for almost 2 years. I'm listening to Morgan last night, and I can barely drive down the fucking highway because I've got tears in my eyes, not because she's my partner, but because I know what she's gone through. I know why she's gone through it. She's gone through it for herself. She's gone through it to serve others, and she's gone through it to serve humanity. And that's what everyone wants to do, and so many are doing. You know, and I believe it's very doable, and I hope to see more and more people stepping up, because it really is contagious. It is so contagious, and all you got to do is look at the Soulogy energy and see all the groups that developed out of Soulogy and all the shows that developed out of Soulogy. And we don't want any credit. It's just the way the shit works. Melissa, what's the crack?
I love the way your face completely lights up when you're talking about her. I really do. And I know, personally speaking, you know, what the impact she has had, Morgan has had in my life, to the point where, like, I can have such a profound breakthrough, use her process, and then I get to call her on the phone and squeal, not talk, because my voice goes so high, because I'm so elated, because I've rumbled so much of my shit. And what I was, something that came to mind as I was listening to you speak is, you know, you're talking about having the container of the support of her with you as you go through your own processes. You're so blessed, because most people out there don't have that. And they have no idea what is running them wise.
Yeah.
I'm doing this process 14 months now, and I got to a place yesterday where I did it on something that should have been so basic, so easily understood, which was the program. My needs are never met. Okay, that might sound very simple and very basic, but the place I went to yesterday, where I realized throughout my history that I had been programmed to put everybody and everything else first. The reason I'm talking about this is I really, really, really don't think people realize, Todd, how much stuff they allow to run within them. I don't think that they realize the amount of power each and every individual has within themselves to become the remedy to their suffering, to become the answer to their prayers, to become the source of their happiness, their joy, their elation. And that scares the shit out of me, because we can't get from one place to the next if we're stuck in the old. We can't. Yeah. And Delia said earlier on about, you know, the main person is ourselves, that the main relationship we have, the first and foremost one, has to be within ourselves. Somebody else put in the comments, how can you have a connection or a relationship with somebody else if you don't know yourself? And I know I'm kind of pulling this out into 3 different areas here, but the point is, we all each now at this point have a responsibility to take ownership for our story, to not put any sort of responsibility in anybody else's hands outside of us. If there is it's as simple as, if there's something that makes you feel like shit, what are you doing about it? Are you staying in it? Are you enduring it? Because you don't have to. Morgan put up a comment earlier on about how we're parenting ourselves from generational things.
Yeah.
That aren't our stuff. They're not nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. And yet here we are, as we are the result of the love of thousands, but we're also the goddamn programs of them too. So the onus is on us to smash the wheel now, just to stop it. And ask yourself, where are you being pulled? Why are you being pulled there? I can't be anything to anybody else if I can't hold my own center. My worry is that my programs, or my lack of awareness of them, impact another person so much that they absorb it as theirs, and then they add that to an already insurmountable task, individual task. It scares the shit out of me. If there's anybody who is struggling right now, maybe not zero pointing is the way. I'm just talking about this because it served me, but find something that assists you to own your shift, the shift in your awareness, your thoughts, your beliefs, because you are not your history. You are not anything that has happened to you. You are a sovereign motherfucking being, and if you're not willing to own and embrace every single piece of that, well, then sit in your shit, because you know what? Nobody's coming in here to save you. They're not. I'm sorry, but they're not.
No.
There's nobody coming to save you, and you can turn around and you can, I can feel good, in the bottom of a bottle of goddamn whiskey, or I can feel great in the arms of some 6'3" giant, or whatever it might look like. But it's all temporary. You have to become the source of your own everything. You have to, or else you're going to spend the rest of your goddamn life. The lights are flickering here. You're going to spend the rest of your goddamn life wondering what just happened. Your life is gone.
You're opening my throat chakra.
Sorry.
No, oh God. It was good. No, I think it needed to be said. And it's a reminder that each and every moment says you can go and do whatever you can. You can look for distractions in the end. You can go on, but in the end, you're going to feel like shit. Nothing's going to get done. And you're still in the same place you were. And then you really have to look at yourself in the mirror and says, where the fuck did I go? Says, I didn't realize I gave my power away, chipping it away. But I also have to own my responsibility to that. Wanting, feeling, needing from a program that I had running in the past to be like, no, screw that. I'm walking away. Walking away with nothing. I'm going to start over again. And in the end, you value yourself. You have more respect for yourself. You learn to love yourself, because in the self-esteem issues that you had stemming from other programs that you had, family issues, things like that, they all comes up. It looks ugly and it's terrible. But it's like, screw all that. I'm not going to do generational crap again. I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to end up being the light that I am and I chose to be. This is the reason that I came for, and I'm going to own my shit.
Yeah. That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Michael, do you have a comment?
Yeah. Melissa's been opening my throat chakra. With that
I've been opening my heart.
See? Yeah. I see in metaphor, and what I imagine is like, I see myself, like, and all of us, in like a desert with nothing around, on our knees, tears coming down, and wounds opening one at a time, and blood just pouring out, like just wounds everywhere opening. And I think that metaphor shows me that, and I said this a week ago, that the paradigm isn't dying outside of us. The paradigm's dying inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that has ever manifested in time is being cleared in the form, right? 0 point. So that then the physical body becomes empty, and then the timeless state can reemerge through the physical form through the optics of the eyes. Right now, we've reached an apex point where separation is so loud because inside of each human body, when we talk about ancestral lineage, when we talk about collective karma, when we talk about our own karma, right now, it's not Michael, Todd, Dahlia, Melissa. Right now, I live in everything that is on this planet. You all live in everything that is on this planet. We are transmuting everything that has walked this earth. Every energy signature that's been left in time has to be transmuted for the formless state to become activated in the physical body. And so I think when you remember that, when you remember it, you sit there and you wait and you hold your heart and you feel death. And you feel the light of the spirit coming back, but you wait with a holy reverence and you honor these deaths and you honor every form and how it's creating, because you know that the law of light has been lit and balance wants to be experienced, and you stop fighting it and you honor your role. You honor your role, therefore you're able to honor everyone's role, and then you're able to see that you are every role in this now moment. And I just think that I really appreciate the balance of energy on here right now, because it's like Todd and Melissa and Dahlia, all of you guys are making me want to just feel my wounds, and then just feeling this experience.
Yeah. The sacred sexuality is a name, a futile name given for an energy or an aspect of our energy or something. What is that? Creation energy? I don't even know, but it's in our physical and our non-physical. And so we get confused, twin flame, blah, blah, blah. Let's start with two people. How can you find that equilibrium, that place, that 0 point where there's an equal energetic exchange that is as natural as the way we breathe, right? I mean, how can you get to that point with 100 people or 10 people or 1,000 people if you can't do it with one? So this whole thing about what goes on inside of us, I believe we brought that with us. I believe that's what we forgot. That divine union, divine marriage is within ourselves, masculine, feminine within ourselves. The golden child created in ourselves through the conception, right? I believe what we're offering the universe is we are now manifesting this in a dense atmosphere with a mirror of ourselves. Now, that can be a romantic connection or a non-romantic connection, right? So if I look at that and I look at my life, to be in a situation where each person knows, and we're normal. We're very normal. As Morgan says, we're very daggy, okay? I got 2 pairs of blue jeans. One's got a big hole in the crotch about this big. She just put a patch on. She's got probably 4 skirts, blue jean skirts. I mean, we're just normal. I want to make that very clear. But when you're in a situation, it could be any type of connection between 2 people. And each other knows, beyond the unconditional love, beyond all the feelings, beyond everything, you know that the other person is going to handle their shift. Okay? You know that that's the priority in yourself and in the other person, so that when there's solitude, when there's whatever, there's no personal, right? You know that the priorities are straight. And what happens is there is a level of trust that doesn't have to be spoken. I love yous don't have to be said. It's just the frequency speaking, the energy speaking for itself. Right? And so I look at that and I think any two people are potentially setting the template, right? Because that template is, look, in let's call it 5D or whatever, heaven on earth. Does the word trust even come up? It's in the energetic field. It's just part of this big bunch of conglomerated words that are put together that, you can't even describe it. But I'm just trying to say there's no need for forgiveness. Let's just say there's no need for distrust. It doesn't exist. So this is important because I feel like I'm speaking to myself. I'm speaking about the two people I saw calling people out this weekend. Did I have to say anything? Well, I can't do anything about it now. But if I view them, if I can get to the point where I view them as external energy, as a person, as a block of energy, as a mirror of myself, can I shut my mouth and trust that will all be fine? I don't know. I'm working on it. I don't know. Was I supposed to say something? Am I supposed to say something next time? I mean, we're learning, but I just feel like, the message for me today is it's doable. It's doable. We're much more than human beings. We are multidimensional, high vibrational, hyper revolutionary, galactic, angelic, ancient, ass-kicking beings, and we're putting it into this body. Yeah, the human's going to have fits and spurts. Absolutely. And you know what? We can handle it. But, yeah, I think that we have to approach it on a one-to-one basis. And a one-to-one basis means moment by moment. Todd reads a post. It upsets him because he's self-righteous. When he calms down, gets off the show, he sits down, thinks about it, and goes, you know what? You're kind of being a self-righteous asshole because this guy just called out so-and-so. Who are you? This is what Melissa's talking about. These are the come to Jesus meetings you have when you do these lists, when you have the brutal honesty of the soul. And that's the most important conversation you can have.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, your turn.
Look where reading that post pulled you.
Where is it? Oh, yeah.
No, when you read it, look where you went. You went off and lost your shit there over in the corner. Like, it really triggered your shit, right? And if it triggered you, it's because there's something inside of you active. It mirrored you, right? And you know that, you can see that, and you acknowledge that, right? Like, what's happening in general in the world is that, so there's like I can see 131 people watching this right now, and they're watching this, and then they're listening to the words, they're feeling the frequency, the vibration, the tones, they're feeling everything, and they're going, yeah, I get it. And then the live ends, then they're into the living room, and they see the kids have wrecked the place, or their husband hasn't taken out the bins, or their wife hasn't done something or other, and then all of a sudden it's boom, they're right back into the middle of this shit again, right?
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to say. It's step by step by step by step of you staying in your. So what if they're calling each other over here? Like, I get it. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're right. I'm just saying that every time, personally speaking, when I involve myself in another person's story, I suffer. I suffer, and I don't want to feel like that anymore. Yeah. So, with love to the people around me who are balls deep in their stuff, I'm sorry for the way I put this. I love you, but you shit out. Or if you are going to turn around and criticize another person. Like, you know, be mindful of what you're saying, because your words impact. And I think, you know, when you see somebody like what you're talking about, take down another, what was it that happened? Because I was
Somebody
late,
just
wasn't
said
I?
that somebody said that somebody was dark,
Yeah. So
and that
okay. So
don't listen to him, don't follow him.
yeah, and you know if they want to and do that, well, that's for them to kind of deal with. I just know every time I allow myself now to invest my time, energy, and presence in anything with anyone that isn't nourishing me, encouraging my expansion, bringing me some happiness or a laugh or some joy or a crack, whatever way you want to put it, I'm robbing myself. I'm robbing myself of what I came here. I didn't come here to fix somebody else. I didn't come here to hold anybody else up. I didn't come here to take them down either.
Yeah.
I just want to be. So I don't know. I'm after going up on one there as well. All I'm saying is I witnessed you lose your center, go over and like literally splash in the puddle, go, oh shit, I'm in the puddle, I'm getting wet, this is uncomfortable, I want to go back over here where it's cozy and shit, which is within, you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm gonna go to Michael. Go ahead, Michael.
I think it's interesting too, because there's this, right? I think one of the greatest truths is the holy paradox, the gift of the paradox. And the paradox is that when we get triggered and we're experiencing these energies, there's also conversation, like poetry, music, and everything else, is everything saturated in code, whether it's the code of the pain body and the ego and trauma, or if it's the code of the spirit, or if it's a little bit of both. And what I think is powerful is this, is like when I look at Todd, for instance, I feel like the code that's being released is an invitation to internal discernment and the activation of the spiritual inner process. And what we see in the world, in the spiritual community, is we see people suffering from still deifying, idolizing, and following blindly. There is no guru in the new paradigm. That is dead. And so part of Todd's spiritual blueprint is demystifying what it means to learn and to feel. Everything's to be activated within. And I don't know, but just speaking for myself, when I started the spiritual journey and I was lost and I was cold and I was unsure and I felt like taking my life and nothing made sense and I was looking for reference points all around to help guide me, I remember I found myself every month waiting for a new date for the event. The event is next month. Oh, the dark forces came in and took out the jet. The event's in 3 months. Oh, the event's been postponed for 3.5 years. And I remember like I got lost, and it really started to create more conceptual fields, right? More emotion. And it wasn't until I surrendered and I realized, and this is what Melissa and Delia, both of you have articulated this. I feel like Todd's created a code for this conversation. Both of you have talked about going within. And what we realize is that we're the pure potentiality of the spirit, and the paradigm shift is that why be a poet? Why be a spiritualist? Why be brown? Why be gay? Why be white? Why be Republican? Why be Democrat when you can tangibly and substantially become existence manifest in a physical body? So the code I feel being released right now into the physical, again, I want to reiterate emphatically, is an invitation to become your own teacher, to become your own guide, to put everything down. Because what happens in the new paradigm right? And this isn't to downplay anyone's role. All these roles have been meant to lead us to this moment. But when you put everything down and you go within, when the light of the spirit is unlocked, communion takes on a new form. So now light is creating a dance, right? And what Morgan says, and it really resonates with me, is the new paradigm is an exchange of codes. All four of us have codes that have been unlocked. All four of us are exchanging codes that, you know, Melissa's giving me something and unlocking something inside of me that hasn't been unlocked. Todd, Delia, vice versa. So I think right now it's a matter of this powerful righteous indignation, this powerful fire we feel is because there's a deeper layer of truth that wants to be released.
Yeah.
And that energy wants to vibrate and it wants to activate another aspect of remembrance within each form, right? Let us see the God aspect inside of ourselves. So then we can now honor the unfolding in a patient and graceful way with non-judgment, because that's the form spirit takes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Sorry, Delia, but you have to go after him.
How to follow that? I mean, overall, from experience, regardless of everything that's happening and everything, there's always that code exchange, even with people that you know, even within disagreements, even if there's tension, even if you're being pulled into something that the intention behind was purity. There is something that's brought up, and you know, at the moment when you start realizing, you start seeing programs, and if somebody kind of calls it out as well, you're like, oh, okay, dang, I didn't know I had that. And in that moment you can say, yes, thank you for bringing it up to me.
Yeah.
And you're right, I didn't know that was going on. Thank you for that. Sorry, this or that, whatever, move on. And then go into it, get into that portion and start realizing, where did it stem from? How does it feel? And everything else. And if zero pointing is definitely one of the ones that's going to definitely help you pull through, then it's going to be one that you can collapse, because this is realizations and things that come up. And it doesn't matter if it's a post or somebody saying something or you reading something or an exchange, or even watching a live. It'd be like, dang, that really resonated with me because I didn't know I was doing that. To really pull through and everything else. And within the code exchange and the many lives that whatever you watch or whatever you're listening to, if it's speaking to your heart and it's like finding another layer for you to work on, then listen to the intuition of it and go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I was talk about people blossoming. I mean, yesterday, and today's 2020. So you can't make this shift up, right? But I was talking to two different people last night, before I talked to you, Michael, and known both of them quite some time. Both are men, and both have blossomed. You know, so many people are expanding and blossoming. You know, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and it doesn't get enough press. And by God, we're going to do everything we can to bring that to the surface. We also got a message from a prominent person that everybody knows, like beyond our circles, that today that said that we can't come on your show, and I'm not knocking them, I'm making a point here. We can't come on your show because you have to have at least 100,000 people in your community. Yeah. So I was, I still wasn't balanced, and I sent him a note back and said, thank you very much. We have 90,000, and we do have David I coming on the 18th. Let us know if you want to come on. Contact us if and when it resonates. Well, it wasn't too bad. It could have been worse, but it could have been nicer, my response. But my point is, what I got out of it was, and I went right into, okay, that burns you a little bit. You know, you already had something on your mind about this speaking out, calling people out, influencing other people with the power of your energy, having that, what does Morgan call it? Throwing out overlays and attaching them to, or throwing them out there, and people choosing to be attached because they believe you, because they respect and honor you. So I had all that going on, and I know it's the same energy. Why is this affecting me? And I said to myself, you know, as part of Soulogy, the real story. It's nice to have a David icon. I mean, that's a great honor for us, you know, and others. But it's the 99%. I said to myself again, I restated to myself, we will always have these unknowns on here. We will always have these people that come on who are bold and beautiful and who actually transform right before our eyes. That's the code, you know? And the other thing I told myself too, do I need to write them a letter back? Because this has been coming into my field, both through my own experience and what I observed. The power of saying, oh shit, I effed it up, or I overreacted. There is so much power. You know, we talk about this thought came in and I pressed Alt Control Delete, you know, delete from my field. And yeah, that works. But this is a physical thing that involves other people. So if we're out there throwing overlays out like frisbees because we're so smart, you know, I'm talking to myself. What about the power? And we know that's powerful because people pick up the overlay and say, oh, he's a guru, she's a yogi, and I'm going to follow that. They said this and they said that. And we've all been there. But if that's doable, is it not doable for me to go back to this person and say, hey, you know, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm sorry. We do have 90,000 people and we will contact you. In other words, whatever the situation is, most of these things happen with people, right? We say something, we do something, we hide something, whatever the case is, we have the power, a very powerful, powerful proposition to go in and say, hey, guess what? Here's the situation. You know, and sometimes it's not even something you did wrong, right? I went to Morgan last night and I said, you know what? I'm fucking dying. I'm dying. I don't want to talk about it, but I am dying. There's an old distorted masculine in me that was a huge part of me that I've been dealing with, and I think I've done a pretty good job with, but a part of it came to me that's been rearing its head to me for the last 2-3 weeks, and it has got me down on the ground. It's beating the fuck out of me, and I'm hurting. I'm not talking about it, but just be aware. I'm hurting. I'm not looking for sympathy. And the reason I'm using this as an example is because I didn't do anything wrong. This fucking ghost is coming in and is beating me to death like I've never been beat before, and I've been beat, you know? And I'm getting there, right? It's so powerful to be, you know, pure isn't like Jesus, I'm illuminated, walking on water. Pure is, here's my shit, it stinks too. Here's where I'm at, you know? And I think in terms of like human interaction, one of the things that's doable and not falling on the sword and not, you know, putting someone on a pedestal and blowing smoke, but really saying, hey, you know what? Here's the deal. Remember that time 6 months ago when I told you to fuck off? I was out of line. It's never too late. And it's a powerful form of embodiment that we can share that isn't about instruction. It's about just saying, hey, man, let me get real with you, you know? So many of the answers to me are coming down to that now. How do we behave? How can I embody this? How can I actually do this? Because a human ain't going anywhere.
No.
So, you know, We might as well stop avoiding it. We got here. You can't make up any. These no coincidences. We got Martin McNichol.
Yeah.
On the Irish.
Martin McNichol coming in 28 minutes, who was a huge catalyst for what some say is the best show we've ever done with Michael Mejia and Martin on the spur of the moment, involving similar subject matter that we started with today. It's coming in 28 minutes. So
Can I just say something?
Yeah, we're going to go around the horn.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to go around the horn.
Not to finish up on anything or whatever, but can you stay raw and vulnerable and talking about feeling like you're dying? And I know it's not easy, because I think in particular the men in the world need this shit, and no better duo than the two of you two coming together after this to keep shit real. Everybody needs to know that, like, for you guys, that it's okay to fall apart, and for the women out there, that it's okay to rise the fuck up and say what you want at the same time too, and that everybody just balances back down and just steadies themselves again. Because, you know, I'm doing what you do. I don't know how you do it. I need to sleep for about a year after showing up and doing a live, because of the amount of fear that it puts in me having to do it, and nervousness and the exhilaration at the same time, and doing this all the time. But, you know, from the balanced place that you speak of, when you give the permission to really feel their way through whatever it is they're going through, and not know or not have a clue what is going on. So many people are fighting with their demons, and I know I'm notorious for it. I leave claw marks on everything. Surrender is like, what does that mean? So we learned the hard way. But the more people like about this, the more real they are, irrespective of how many, you know, watch or whatever. For all the men, Tina, keep doing that. They need you.
I hear you, and I promise you. I was actually just summing everything up and have you go around one more time, so you're welcome to conclude with any concluding comments. But I promise you that I will do that when I'm listening to you. I think I'm promising her, and I'm probably going to do some of it on this next show. And I've been telling Morgan this. I've been telling her, you know, I told her last night. I said, you know, I know you get it, because she forecasts everything. You know, like as an example, she told me a week ago, the men are going to have an opportunity to fully embody their divine feminine. Like my divine feminine came in and spent 2 days with me about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And like everything else, the minute you think it's done, you get another one, right? And so, she told me that about a week to 10 days ago, and I listen to everything she says. You know that. So I went to her last night and I said, yeah, that's true. It's happening. But in order for there to be space for that her and me to come in, something's got to go.
Yeah.
And guess what that is? That's a hard swinging dick, you know, the alpha male.
Yeah, everything that you're not.
No, I know. I'm just saying that this is the ghost. This is the ghost that's come to see me.
Yeah.
The one that says, you know, that's challenging me. It's challenging me to the nth degree. Yeah. And I'm talking about some things that are very, very personal, you know, and you know me, I'm an open book, but I don't know if I can even go there. I probably will because of you.
Good.
And, but anyway, I told her that. And I said, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think that a woman can understand where the man's coming from. Now we're talking physical woman, physical man. And I know there's exceptions because, you know what I mean? Because of alternative lifestyles, whatever you want to call it. But I'm just trying to say that it's one can't understand the other. It's two different points of entry into this quadrangle of the divine feminine, divine masculine, human man, human woman. So I see that, and I told her, I see how difficult it's going to be for the typical man who's been in the typical journey of, that's out there, because it's so embedded in the sexual interaction. And it's fucking brutal. It really is.
I think the men out there know that it's okay to crack, that it's okay to open their hearts, that it's safe, that it is. But this is uncharted territory for all of them. So you know what? I think you two are the perfect to blaze the trail. You have literally been through so much, and like Michael says, it's at an apex. Yeah. Y'all are at a choice point. It's time to show up.
Yeah, you can't piss like a poodle if you're going to run with the big dogs.
Wow.
Michael, you got anything you want to close out with?
I think I wrote something earlier, and just to pull a piece out of there, I think the greatest gift we could give ourselves right now is to turn away from everything that we've ever been taught, everything that we've ever believed, everything that we've held on to. Turn from it all and hold steadfast in the burning silence. Listen to the screams of your mind and of your heart. Listen to them so deeply that you realize you are not them, and then fall into the vacuum of emptiness and just let it take you. I just think that that's the gift we can give ourselves while we're going through this purification, and it's hard and it's painful. But I know for myself, to go from being in bed till 5 p.m. last night, the void, looking for my favorite comfort foods, to then spending time with the three of you, that we all need this. Like this, my heart feels lighter because I'm in this energy. And when you say that, brother, I feel it. That's why, when I talked last night, I keep saying, how are you? How are you? And it's like when we see each other and we all get to connect, we get to hold each other's hands while we continue to step into the dark, sheer unknown. And that's the only place we're going to find the new. Or the new is really what we are, which is love at the core. Yeah. And I love you guys. That's it.
Love you, man. Delia, Flores?
God, what can I say? Besides the entire experience, I know everybody's going through some rough things. I mean, collectively, energetically, we all feel it. No one's being left untouched by this. So, take the time that you need. And I do agree. We do have to explore all those voids and parts and spaces and crevices in the heart that we have not touched. Because we've put our hearts in walls, we've encased them, they're bruised up, they're scarred. And it's taking that moment to really honor everything and the entire process. It really is taking that. And this kind of lights up, kind of sums up everything that we're going through. And I just love this energy code that really is putting perspective to move forward and continue doing the work. Ooh, whose surprise guest is with Michael on Friday?
Thank you, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just read that. Who's your guest?
Who's your guest?
I haven't fully confirmed, but I know that it's going to be a beautiful experience because
so you don't know. You're not going You're not going to tell us who your guest is on Friday. And by the way, I found a sponsor for your show.
You. I want you to. You get to. Me and you are going to do a duet.
No, it is called Kleenex Company because people need a lot of fucking tissues watching your show.
Always.
So they said, by all means, we'll do it. We'll pay you to let us be the sponsor. Michael, let us know as soon as you know who it's going to be. We'll put it out.
Melissa, when's your show?
Oh.
Do you have a guest? Have you announced your guest?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you haven't? Okay. We're excited to be trying this out. And I hope Melissa knows that, whatever you want to do, it's up to you.
Melissa's going to be on Love Speaks Love tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So if everyone gets a chance, come support her. And Denise, they're both beautiful.
Right on.
And let's watch our brother Martin. I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, he just sent me a note. We have this habit of sending each other messages. We don't answer them for like 15 days, and I don't know what it is. We just both go in different directions all the time. But we do stay connected. And he's and by the way, one of the shows we're going to have on the 18th. See, the 18th, David Icke's on at noon Eastern time. I believe at 3 Eastern is Sandra Walter. I believe at 5:30 Eastern it's Michael Mejia, Mark McNichol, myself. We'll do a show, and then after that it's the elusive unicorn Abigail Wainwright. So it should be a very powerful day, very powerful month. Oh, thank you. I almost had that right. At 8 p.m. Eastern will be Abigail Wainwright. We got a lot of people. Grace Solaris the day before that with Lori Ladd and Seth Leaf Prusnosky, who's pretty powerful. Mary Rodwell. It's going to be a great month. And I think we're going to have a great show here in 16 minutes with Martin. And just try a little something here. I've always done everything spontaneously, but back in the day when I first hit the streets, a lot of us when we wake up, people reach out to you and they ask for help, and I did a lot of I guess I did a lot of sessions, which I don't do, but I was sometimes told by a relative that had disincarnated to go talk to my mother and and it had different ways. But one of the things I used to do, so I'm going to do it today, is to take the person and place them in the center of a circle, and the circle is made of all of us and all of our guides and angels. Now that's the way it would go. And I used to work a lot with the angels, so the heavenly angels would bear witness. And so what I would do is put a person in that circle, and then something would come out. So that's what I want to do today. So what I'm going to do is I'm asking everybody just to join me in the circle of life. We form the circle with all of our angels and guides in this eternal moment as witnessed by the heaven's angels. And in the center of the circle is all of us. So we got the circle of life with the higher self, the multidimensional aspects, the guides and the angels. And in the center is the divine human, the blossoming divine human. So in this eternal moment, with the angels of heaven as our witness, we send all of our energetic force, our power, love, courage, honor, respect, and love onto the center of the circle of life. And as the angels witness in love and light, and love and light, and love and light in this eternal moment. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. God help us. It's a 20-20-20 day. Stay tuned for Mark McNichol in 13 minutes. And who knows what else will happen today. I love you guys, and I love everybody out there. Thank you.
Enjoy.